welcome into pop culture with Banks Jim. So I just finished watching this movie called Slumberland. Um, you know, I'm gonna say that it's really not bad. I enjoyed it. Um, I think I think the acting was really good. Um, I really enjoyed it. Uh, Jason Momoa for all of his weirdness, I think sells. I really like the movie. I don't know, something unique, something enjoyable. I think that the story is fairly, uh, you know, it's engrossing, gets you involved, gets you emotionally involved. Uh, Tells a good story. It's unique, but it's fantastical because that's kind of what you expect. It's a movie about dreams. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, even though it's probably been out for a while and people have seen it. It's really not bad. Uh, Among other things, it's pretty good. Um, Another thing I recently watched, and you are watching me scroll if I can find it. I don't know if I'll find it. Hmm. The Samaritan with what's his face, Sylvester Stallone. Um, Me and my wife watched it. Really liked it. Um, there's something really moving about the story. Um, you know, it tells a pretty good story. It gives you sort of a backstory, a history of a character that we discover, and you know what? It's not bad. Um, it's sort of a it kind of comes off a little bit like Karate Kid, the most modern one, only that it's he's not teaching him karate. Uh, but this is actually really decent. My wife liked it. I liked it. It kind of hit the spot. It wasn't an over the top Marvel beat you over the head with a message deal. Sure, there was some in it, but it really didn't. It didn't. It didn't make you hate yourself watching it, and I think that's something that's missing from a lot of most modern movies, is that we don't get a chance to really enjoy movies anymore. Most of the time they want to tell a story. They want to beat you over the head with a message. And Slumberland and Samaritan, you know what? They really didn't. They didn't, kick you in the teeth to tell you how a story should go, or how, you know, what how you should live your life. What's the best way to do it? Instead of just telling a good story, giving us something to look at, something to enjoy, you know, slipping it in there, it didn't even phase me. I didn't even notice if there was. Um, it just really did kind of hit the spot. If you're looking for something to kill an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, I think you can go and watch some really terrible movies. Honestly, these two, I'm gonna say that you know, they'll take up the hour and 42 minutes, maybe more, and really kind of hit the spot. That's I think that's something that we need nowadays. Is a movie that gives you, a decent story. Tells your protagonist where he's going, what the problem is. It sets a frame for the movie, and then it gives you, it gives you a movie. It gives you a story. It tells you a story. It's not you should live a better life. You should, this, that, and the other. It's really just, it gives you a story. It gives you a point A, fills point B, and and it's you know what? I really enjoyed it. I think the plots may have holes. Not a whole lot's explained in Slumberland, but you know what? That's okay, because you know you're dealing with a young girl who's dealing with the grief of the loss of her father. She's now got to live with her uncle. It's and she's going to a school now instead of being homeschooled. It's really like, what's the one escape that she would have? And it's sleeping, living in the dream world. And, from there, I suggest you watch the movie, because it really does give you a decent perspective. She's dealing with trauma. You know, she's dealing with issues. And you know what? That would be one escape for people is, the adventure into a dream. And the story's really decent. It's unique. Something that we don't get very often is a unique story that doesn't want to tell you anything else. It just wants to tell you the story, and I really enjoyed that. With Samaritan, sure, it had a message about the downtrodden and all this, but really it was about, falling into the wrong crowd and, needing a hero. And really that's kind of the idea here is, we all make mistakes, we all do things we regret, but only you can pull yourself out. It's up to you. That's kind of the story you get with Samaritan, is that only you can make the change you want to make, and it's up to you to, do the thing. And I really enjoyed it. I got what I haven't gotten from superhero movies in a really long time, which was a story that didn't try to do too much. It gave you the story. It gave you, decent characters that felt full. Some of the characters were very very side characters, and they acted pretty well. I get it. The mom in this, she's not in it for very much. She pretty much did what she could with what was written for her, and I think she did a pretty good job. Sylvester Stallone, I really think did a great job. I liked how he portrayed the character that he had, and I really think that I think this was a well done movie. I honestly do. I think it was pretty well done. So if I can suggest anything to you, anybody who decides to watch this, I think, to be fair, I think that so you can do much worse than watching 2 hours of Slumberland or an hour and 42 minutes of Samaritan. I think you could do much worse. Like, these movies are actually pretty decent. They fill a void, and they kind of hit the spot. I will tell you, I also recently watched Wednesday. And for all the weird verbiage and all the semi-woke nonsense that they kind of throw at you early on, you know what? it was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it because it really did give you kind of a story of oh well, it's not even here. Where is? Like, really? Yeah, yeah. I don't need to hear you. This. This was actually pretty decent. I enjoyed it. Watched all of it. Um, it was pretty good. Um, Once you get past all of the nonsense and stuff, the fantastical kind of plays through fairly well. Um, I like the idea that kind of anybody can be a hero in this kind of weird universe. But I mean, the truth is, everybody's a hero. I'll cut them slack there. Um, Now, it, it I don't know. It sometimes you get in the mood for an Adams Family flick. This kind of hit the spot a little bit. It was a unique TV show. It was decent. Like we don't get a whole lot of decent. If you've watched Rings of Power or She-Hulk, this is actually not that bad. um, the CGI is not terrible. It just all around wasn't awful. It was a fun little romp, and it was something. I think Tim Burton did a pretty good job. And it tells a fairly, you know, a fairly Adams story. So, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that you can waste your time watching, and I'll be fair. I mean, there are some bad TV shows out there, but Wednesday wasn't awful. Um, I watched the Terminalist, if I can find that somewhere in my watch agains, I guess. The Terminalist was really good. I'm not gonna recommend watching. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I just Blu-ray past it. Um, I'm not going to recommend watching Reacher for the 8th time, because if you've seen it, you already know. If you haven't seen it, why not? Unless you don't have an Amazon Prime subscription. But, I mean, these two shows are really similar, and they're really engrossing. You know, we look for escapism as a fan of the genres of, action, adventure, sci-fi. We're looking for an escape from reality, and when you get done watching a TV show or a movie, and you just want to be like that character. I'm an old man. I am 37 years old. I kind of want to be Jack Reacher. I really did enjoy that. You watch the Terminalist, you kind of get in that mindset, and it's really neat. I think there's some media has snuck through, and I think, I really think that writers and, these streaming programs are really putting in the effort to kind of like, look, we're not going to produce all stuff that's bad. It's not going to all be this ESG score stuff. It's not going to be all about serving a woke ideology or serving a conservative or right wing ideology. We're going to tell a good story. It's going to be engrossing. It's going to get you sucked in. You're going to enjoy it, and in the end, you're going to really, really enjoy what you're watching. I could go on a rant about watching Star Wars, we go and watch the first 3 episodes, and they're great. There's a story. CGI is kind of whatever nowadays, but it tells a story. It's enjoyable. It gives you a path. The original trilogy, shows you where that path leads and where the story is going. And then the back half of the trilogy just kind of passes excrement onto the bed. It really deflated the characters and the adventure, the danger and the struggles in the original trilogy. It took those characters and diminished and diminished and diminished until they weren't important anymore. And come the final movie, the one bad guy is sort of a nothing burger. He's easily defeated. There's some struggle. It felt hollow. Like the back half of the Star Wars saga felt hollow, sad, and empty. No movie, no series or saga should feel empty. Look, for all the issues with modern storytelling, a perfect example of how to do it right is looking at Stranger Things. And I know this is going to sound crazy, I guess, but if you watch the first season, it was amazing. It was one of those moments for us nerds. It was a story that got us sucked in, and it was good. It was a good story. Second season, not as much. Third season, almost as bad. Fourth season, we're back. And it shows that these studios and these companies know what works. And I just wish places like Warner Brothers would have taken the heed and understood what it, how do you lose Henry Cavill? This is why we're gonna get a Warhammer 40K series on Prime Video. I mean, look at this. This doesn't usually get made. Reacher doesn't usually get made. These aren't shows that get made by these studios anymore. And it's funny that we've reached this point where these movies, these TV shows, this media doesn't get made anymore for us, Joe Schmo consumer. They make it for their Hollywood audience, which is their fellow writers. They're not writing for us anymore. They're writing for them. And that's okay, I guess, but when they write for them, they can virtue signal to the moon about how great and how wonderful, and then no one shows up. We show up and we see it, and it's terrible. Apparently, from what I hear, Avatar 2 is good. I'm going to wait. I refuse to spend movie on modern thing anymore because Marvel's ruined that for me. I watched the Batman, the most recent one with Robert Pattinson. It was good. I enjoyed it. I bought it. Is it the best thing ever? No. Is it awful? No. I haven't seen Black Adam. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. It's a mix, but we're looking at the end of what they were planning on doing in a hard reboot from James Gunn, which is why Henry Cavill's going to do his own thing. We look at Witcher, and they're going to write their own story and not pay attention to any of the books. It's like, well, now you know why he's not there anymore. It just, modern audience is modern audience, but you know what? Modern audience isn't much different than past audience. We want something good. We want to escape from the nonsense that goes on outside our walls and that's fed to us through the media, no matter which side you're listening to. We just want to escape. We want somewhere to escape to, and you know what? I think I've given you a pretty decent list of TV shows and movies that, honestly, I'm surprised even get made anymore. Like they're good escapism. It just, I don't know. I think that that the list is pretty good. I honestly, if you had 5 hours to kill, I think you could do worse. Honestly, I think you could absolutely do worse. If you watch Samaritan, SlumberLand, and hell, The Terminalist, or Wednesday for that matter, honestly, I think you'd kill that 6 hours no problem and actually be happy that you did. It's one of the few times that I would say that. But those are my opinions. Why don't you give me a like, leave a comment. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. I don't care. Tell me what you think. I'm just a guy who spouts my opinions on the internet, so I'm fallible. But please do like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, man. But most importantly, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you all next time.